The garage was loud, crowded, and filled with the smell of burnt oil as engineers hurried around the giant prototype engine, lying open like a metal beast on the floor. It was supposed to power the newest line of heavy-duty trucks for Titan Motors, but right now, it refused to start. No one could figure out why. People whispered, cursed, scribbled notes, checked diagrams, and argued over theories that led nowhere. And in the middle of all the chaos sat a 10-year-old girl quietly watching everything with bright, curious eyes. Her name was Mia. She was small, her hair tied in a messy ponytail, and her jeans smudged with grease. Her mother worked as a cleaner at Titan Motors and had brought Mia along after school because she had no one to leave her with. Mia loved it here. Loved the machines, loved the tools, loved the humming sounds of engines being tested. She understood things she shouldn't, things no 10-year-old should reasonably grasp. But she never told anyone. Who would believe her? At the far end of the garage stood Daniel Carter, the 35-year-old CEO of Titan Motors. He wore a dark suit, his sleeves rolled up, and his expression was strained. The project was behind schedule, investors were anxious, and the board was pressuring him for results. All eyes rested on the engine, but the tension kept rising as each minute passed without progress. "We've checked the ignition timing twice," one engineer said, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Everything matches." "It's not the injectors," another added. "We replaced them an hour ago." "Maybe it's the new control module," a third muttered, "but everything reads fine on diagnostics." Daniel exhaled sharply and rubbed his temples. "Someone needs to tell me why a $5 million prototype won't start." Silence fell. Engineers looked at one another helplessly. "I can make it work." The voice was small, almost unsure, but loud enough to cut through the quiet. Everyone turned. Standing at the edge of the group was little Mia, her chin lifted, her hands clasped behind her back. A few engineers frowned, some chuckled under their breath, and Daniel blinked, surprised. "Mia," her mother hissed softly, mortified. "Sweetheart, don't interrupt. This is important." But Mia didn't back away. She stepped forward, barefoot confidence in every movement. "I know what's wrong." One of the lead engineers chuckled. "Honey, this is a very advanced engine. Even we're struggling. Maybe go sit with your mother, okay?" Mia didn't move. Her eyes went to the engine. "You're flooding the lower chamber." The laughter stopped. Daniel's eyebrows rose slowly. "Flooding the what?" "The lower chamber," Mia repeated gently. "Fuel is leaking past the seal into the wrong valve pocket. That's why the engine won't catch. It's too wet." Several engineers exchanged confused looks. "That doesn't make any sense," someone muttered. "But it explains the misfire readings," another whispered. Daniel stepped closer. "The Adam Sandler, and how exactly do you think we fix it?" Mia pointed at a small, nearly invisible metal bracket hidden behind a maze of wires. "You need to tighten that support latch. It keeps shaking loose. The pressure makes the seal slip." A long silence followed. Then an engineer knelt to check. His eyes widened. "She's right. The bracket is loose, way too loose. How did we miss this?" Mia shrugged shyly. "You didn't look at the bottom." More whispers filled the room, but this time they carried shock instead of amusement. Daniel crouched until he was eye level with her. "Mia, how did you know that?" She hesitated, glancing nervously at her mother. "I just understand engines. I like how they work. I watch a lot here. I learn things." She wasn't lying. She had spent years cleaning tools when no one was watching, studying diagrams thrown in the trash, observing mechanics from behind corners, memorizing every sound an engine made when it was healthy and when it wasn't. This world made sense to her in a way that words, school, and people did not. "Can you fix it?" Daniel asked softly. Mia swallowed. "If you let me." For 10 whole seconds, the room froze. Then Daniel stood, his voice firm. Everyone stepped back. Gasps followed. Engineers hesitated, stunned, but Daniel's tone left no room for argument. Slowly, the crowd parted, making space around the giant engine. One of the senior mechanics hurried to hand Mia a pair of work gloves that looked enormous on her tiny hands. Her mother whispered anxiously, "Baby, are you sure?" Mia gave her a brave, reassuring nod. She knelt beside the engine with the precision of someone far older and pressed her small fingers into tight places where adult hands struggled to fit. The loose bracket clicked under her touch, and she tightened it using a short wrench someone passed her. She checked the seal, wiped away the flooded fuel with a cloth, then tapped twice on a side panel as if signaling to the machine itself. "Try it now," she said quietly. The head engineer moved to the control switch. Daniel watched her, not with doubt, but with a strange mixture of awe and curiosity. The engineer pressed the ignition. A deep rumble filled the room. The engine sputtered, coughed, and then roared to life, smooth and powerful. The entire garage erupted. Impossible. No way. She actually fixed it. Engineers who had been fighting the machine for hours stared at the 10-year-old girl as if she were magic. Her mother covered her mouth, eyes flooding with tears. And Daniel simply stared at the little girl who had done what his entire team couldn't. Mia stepped back, her face glowing, her ponytail bouncing as she smiled proudly at the humming engine. Daniel approached her slowly. "You didn't fix it," he said quietly. Mia's smile faltered. "I didn't?" Daniel shook his head, his eyes warm. "You saved the whole project." The room went silent again. He knelt once more so they were eye level.